Welcome to our channel where we give tips for surviving motherhood and provide a place for honest conversations about women's mental health. We make new videos every Monday, every week. We hope you like our video and don't forget to subscribe below. Today we're going to be talking about the transition to motherhood and how that is one of the, if not the biggest transition of one's life. Yet we don't really talk about how difficult that transition can be and what all it entails.
Yeah, so when we talk about transitions, one of the most obvious ones is going from a couple of two to a family of three. Now, I remember hearing something really funny one time that really got me thinking, and it was talking about, going from a couple of two to bringing in this third member into your family who comes home with you, and, they're screaming and crying and pooping and peeing, and you're taking care of all their needs all the time. And it's this all-consuming new thing for you because you've not been having to do that, and that's a huge deal. So that's one of our most obvious ones in going from a family of two to a family of three. Another one is no longer being able to give your partner the same type of attention that you once did before because your attention is divided now to somebody else. Also, just adding another member to your family, whether you have 3 kids or 6 kids already or however many, adding a new addition is always going to take a little bit away and going to be a new dynamic to get used to. We also lose the freedom to come and go as we please. That can be one of our losses in motherhood. We're used to doing what we want when we want, and now we're suddenly dictated by this little life and their needs. So sometimes we lose our right to sleep, or our right to eat, or to take a shower, and our time is just really limited.
That is so true. That transition can be, even though we always talk about, or most people talk about how great it is and it's the best thing, we don't really talk about how the difficulty of that transition and the losses, and that while there are some wonderful gains that come along, there are also some very real losses that can bring up those mixed feelings and feelings of like, do I even like this transition? And because we don't really talk about it openly, moms can feel like there's something wrong with them when those feelings come up. And then they feel guilty that means they're a bad mom because they're not enjoying every minute of this new role, of this new life that they have. And so, yeah, along with that transition is your identity changes. You go from being who you are to being mom. Even when you got into the world, I know I noticed that I would go to the pediatrician's office and they wouldn't even call me by my name. They would call me mom. Or you go to the dentist, or you go to school and you are now known as mom. You kind of lose your identity. Emotions are now divided between family and work. And unfortunately, as we know in society, the workplace is not very family friendly, and moms and women are penalized for wanting to have families. And so that can definitely be an impact. Then we also have friendship and social changes and transitions. Sometimes you might be the first one in your friend group to have a baby. And so they might assume that, oh, well, you have a baby now, so you are different. You don't want to come out anymore. They stop inviting you places. Or if they do continue to invite you and you're not able to go, they get angry or they get upset, and they're not working with you to find, okay, what does our friendship look like now that I have a child or have a family? And that can be a loss as well, losing those friendships. And then even just the fact of when a baby's a newborn, many people have to stay home more. They can't be as mobile. They can't get out and about. So if you're used to having an active lifestyle or being out and about, that change can be difficult as well. And that can be a loss and something that's difficult. So many transitions under that big umbrella transition for sure. So Felicia, can you talk a little bit about you? What was that transition like and what was your experience?
Yeah, so my transition was going from a family of 2 to a family of 3, bringing in my daughter. And one of the incidents, I guess, that kind of stands out to me the most was the first time I went shopping to the grocery store with her. And I stick her car seat in the bottom part, of the buggy, and where there's plenty of room and I didn't feel like she would topple over if it didn't latch and wasn't super secure, whatever. And went into the grocery store and was trying to buy Christmas decorations and stuff because it was that time of the year, and was kind of like, where do I put the decorations now? Like, I've got a baby in this part of the car. Like, what do I do now? I can't push 2 buggies. So that was a fun thing to navigate. And then going back out to the car and pushing my daughter out and kind of wondering, do I put my daughter in the car first, or do I put all my stuff in the car first? What do I do? And I remember standing there for a little while, and I guess I had drawn some attention of a couple other women, and they had come and helped me load up my car and took my buggy back for me while I put my daughter in the car. And I remember that being such a huge help. I guess moms, we need to reach out and help one another, because that's an adjustment that you don't think about until you have kids.
Yeah.
Another transition that comes to mind for me is sleep. Losing that sleep, whether it's because of baby's sleep regressions in different stages or because baby is dropping a nap. I think that's one that I'm still currently kind of dealing with, is my daughter going from 2 naps down to 1. That was my self-care time and productive time during the day, and having to lose a lot of that was an awakening moment.
Absolutely. For me, those things I can definitely relate to. Just the number one, simple things like going to the store. Like, I remember that after having a baby, the idea of just being able to go to the store, park, walk in, get what you need, get out, seemed like a luxury, because when you had a baby, there was, okay, I'm going to park close to the cart return so I can put the baby in, return the cart. I don't want to leave baby alone in the car, but I don't want to be one of those people that's leaving their carts out in the middle of nowhere. And just that every outing with a baby is almost like packing for a vacation, right? The diaper bags, the stuff, everything takes a lot of time and energy. And that is definitely a transition. And then I know for me, I have 3 kids, so I've gone through that transition multiple times. And even though having 2 and 3 is more work and more going on than having 1, I still found the transition from no kids to 1 to be the biggest challenge that I did with adding the others. And I think that's because by the time the 2nd and 3rd came along, I had already adjusted to this lifestyle of parenthood and adjusting how we do things. Of course, there is something to be said for having experienced it once, that you just have that experience versus it being brand new. Well, I know for me, the biggest challenge, and I think I still experience this, is that loss of time, that loss of free time, that loss of, I'm just going to spend the whole day sitting around reading, watching Netflix, or I'm going to have the whole evening to do what I want. Just, you are forced to become really efficient with your time, really mindful of your time, because time is at a premium. And then also that sleep was definitely a big transition. I know when they say like nothing prepares you, it really is true. Just losing that sleep and how it impacts you emotionally, physically, mentally, is a big thing. And then the idea of that it feels like it's permanent versus temporary, those transitions as well. I think too, that's the biggest thing with the transition, is that it's ever changing. Even when you do get used to one phase of parenting, it changes. So you're constantly learning and growing and being challenged as well. Yeah,
you're always kept on your toes.
Yeah. Well, that's all for today. Today we discussed the transition to motherhood and some of the losses and challenges involved that are not always talked about. So we hope hearing this helped you feel not so alone. Comment below and tell us what were your biggest challenges with the transitions, or any stories that you'd like to share on that. Thank you for watching. If you or someone you know is struggling with a perinatal mood and anxiety disorder, reach out to the PSI warmline in the number in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos about surviving motherhood. Bye.